What's up, bro? I've got some exciting news, and that is that I've spent the last 2 years or so developing an online course for guitar arranging, and it's out now, and I'm very excited about it. And I'm going to tell you about it. First off, why should you listen to me about guitar arranging? Well, I've done about 150 or so solo guitar arrangements. Over 10,000 people have purchased my guitar arrangements on Patreon. I'm just trying to say I don't totally suck. I know that sounds a little bit braggy, but I feel like you need to have a reason to believe what I'm saying. So the main reason I made this course is because I interviewed about 30 people a while ago about guitar arranging. These are people who range from many different levels. Some were total beginner arrangers who hadn't even started yet. Some were, kind of in the middle. They were just starting the process. And then there are people who had been doing it for a while, but were still frustrated with how slow the process had been for them. And what I took from that was that pretty much across the board, people were doing things in totally inefficient ways that were wasting their time and leading to burnout, overwhelm, and ultimately kind of subpar arrangements that were rarely finished. And I wanted to remedy that. So I think there's good reasons for these things, these problems in people. And it's because arranging is really, really difficult. It's a really insane task that you're trying to do. There's a bunch of mini problems wrapped up into the one big problem of guitar arranging. Now, I think of guitar arranging as kind of three, I guess I call them decision buckets. The first one would be what notes are in the song. So that's all about your ear, right? It's how capable are you of hearing the notes in the particular piece of music that you're working on? What's the melody? What's the bass? And then of course the hardest one, what are the notes that make up the insides of the chords, right? This is usually where people struggle the most, okay? Number two is, of the notes that I hear in the song, which notes do I include in my arrangement? Which ones do I throw away? Which ones do I change? This is a difficult thing to figure out as well, because it's not just about what notes are there. You can't just take a piece of music and figure out all the notes that are there and then put it into Guitar Pro or whatever, or find them on your guitar fretboard, and now you have a finished arrangement. It's not like that. I wish it was that easy, but it's not. In addition to that, there's also the third decision bucket, which is of the notes that you have decided to put in your arrangement, from the notes you hear, how and where do I play those notes on an actual guitar physically? Which fingers do I use? Where do I play them on the neck? And the reason this is such a difficult task is because a lot of these decisions are based on other decisions and kind of like a seesaw. There's just so much going on with arranging that it tends to be really overwhelming and just really frustrating for people. So I'm going to tell you kind of how I got started with guitar arranging, which is that I basically did it out of necessity. So when I started playing classical guitar, I didn't really know about tabs. I didn't know where to find them. And so I just started learning stuff by ear, and it was really, really difficult. Now this was these were guitar transcriptions. So it was guitar music that I was learning on guitar, which to me that's the easiest form of guitar arranging. I guess it's not really arranging, right? Because it's just a one-to-one transfer of the audio to the guitar. But that's how I got started, because again, I didn't know where the tabs were. Now I'm so glad I didn't know where the tabs were, because I started this way, right? And I think one of the advantages that I've had is that I've been I was forced to do it that way because I didn't really know any better. And here's the thing, when I started doing things like that, it took forever. I remember I learned this song Classical Gas by Mason Williams, and it took me definitely over a month. I mean, it took me a very, very long time to decipher what was there. My ear wasn't nearly as strong as it is now. I didn't have a process at all. I wasn't even writing anything down, much less using software. I mean, none existed at the time for what I was doing. And I sure as hell didn't have a good workflow. I mean, none of the way that I was doing it just made no sense at all. But I eventually reached the finish line, and it was very satisfying. And I think that's the reason that I'm doing what I'm doing now, and that I'm able to do what I'm doing now, because I went through that painful slog in the beginning. But the thing is I don't think it's necessary to go through that crazy, painful slog. I think that like, if you can learn a system that works, that is quick, that is efficient, you don't have to like spend years and years like trudging through difficult arrangements. You know, you can learn a system, you can start applying it immediately. You know, it's not going to be totally easy. You know, arranging is still going to be kind of difficult, but it's at least going to be as easy as it can be. Okay, and you're going to at least be able to make the best arrangements that you can in the shortest amount of time. So part of the reason it's taken so long for me to come out with this course is that I wanted to test it on these people. So a lot of these people that I did interviews with, they were my first students. They're the first people in the course. And I basically got to see them go through the process and get a lot better and a lot faster. And it was really cool, really satisfying to see. In addition to that, they taught me a lot about the way to teach the material and what to include in it and what to not include in it. So, you know, it's not really a theory. It's actually been tested on like a lot of people over a long period of time. So I'm very happy to say that. And, you know, I finally feel confident making this video telling you guys about the course. I also think it's important to tell you guys what this course is not. So it's not like a music theory course, and it's not a technique course. It is a guitar arranging course. And I know that might sound a little weird. Most people think that theory is really important to guitar arranging. In my experience, and I can only speak for myself, but it is not. And it's never been for me, okay? And any of the high-level arrangers that I've come in contact with, that I've talked to about their actual arranging process, they don't seem to use much theory, if any, okay? And that's just what I've seen, okay? There might be people who do it, and it works great for them, and that's fine. But that's not me, and that's not the way I teach it, and that's not the way my students are doing it, okay? I just want to make that clear. And it's also not a technique course, so this is not going to make you better at playing guitar, right? It might give you things to practice because you're psyched about playing your arrangements, but there's nothing about technique in there, okay? Just to be clear. So basically, you know, what I'm doing is I'm taking aspiring guitar arrangers or people who are already doing it and making the process way easier so they can do more arrangements faster and do them as quickly and as efficiently and as accurately as possible, okay? And I'm doing that by basically working on their ear, making their ear better, giving them kind of an algorithm that they can apply to any piece of music so that they can, you know, have a sick arrangement when they're done with the process. And then also making sure that they have the tools to actually get better at this skill on a long time horizon, right? Because it's not just like something you learn like that and then you got it. The process you can learn like that, right? But the ear training and actually getting better at arranging as a whole is a process, but it's important to start implementing the right process as soon as possible so that you don't waste like years of your life doing what I did in the beginning and doing a bunch of bullshit that took too long, okay? So if this sounds cool to you, there's a link down in the description to book a call with me. We'll just talk, figure out like where you're at with guitar arranging, and then hopefully I can help you on the call. And if, you know, if it makes sense, then you can join the course. And that's it. If that sounds cool to you, do it. And if not, that's all good. Peace out, bro.